Are we ready to go, Mr. Cole?
We are.
Well, this school year, you and I and Mr. Jeff Tubbs from Scottsboro City have joined the Jackson County, Mountain Lakes Chamber of Commerce is the title, as part of their board. And one person that works out of that office, and a lot of people may have seen a lot of videos, promotional videos that she's made even before today, is Miss Sarah Stahl. Miss Sarah works for the county and the chamber for tourism and marketing for our county, not just the city of Scottsboro or our independent locations, but for the entire county. So she's made her way through our county over the past few years, making some videos, promotional videos for a lot of places that folks are not even familiar with, like outdoor recreational areas and other industry that we have in our county that brings people to our county. So when we've taken a little break from these World of Work Wednesdays, and as we get started back, I just wanted to involve Miss Sarah. She and I had a conversation earlier in the month, and just some things that she's working on and things that can line up with what our kids want to see in a community like Jackson County to live here for their adult life, and what kind of jobs tie into those. So Miss Sarah, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. First of all, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
And Sarah, what we'll do, if anybody's got questions, they'll type those in the chat, and then I'll try. I may interrupt you sometimes with those questions, or if you see them, you can go ahead and answer them as well.
Sounds good. Since I'm new to this group, if you don't mind me giving an introduction, how much time do you have this morning?
Our numbers are growing every week. We've got teachers that are logging in, so students in these classrooms. There's really no estimate how many folks you're reaching, plus the fact we're recording this so that any teacher can show it on their own time, and it'll be loaded into YouTube. But our hope is to target our 5 through 8 grades specifically, so that they're seeing what's available for job opportunities in Jackson County.
Okay, great. Just wanted to get my head right. So just a really quick background. We actually are a former military family that traveled around the entire world for about 16 years. The Lord led us out of the military 4 years before my husband's retirement, which took some convincing to do. But at the end of the day, we made a decision that, one, we want to follow the Lord and his direction, and 2, we wanted to give our children more stability in their life. We do have 3 children ranging from the ages of 16 to 8. And we discovered this place when we were stationed in Montgomery, and we used to come up here and visit all the time. So from a visitor's perspective, this is a beautiful bucket list item. There are so many assets across Jackson County that people put on their calendars a year in advance to make sure that they can one day accomplish those things. So people come here and spend their money in our community in order to have an experience for themselves and their family. So I say all that to say I have a background in marketing. I didn't even know about the tourism industry until about 2 years ago. And so I have spent the last year and a half as the tourism director in Jackson County, transitioning from a marketing position to tourism when this spot was vacated from the previous tourism director who retired. And so I like to say COVID year was good for me because I felt it was important to understand what it was I'm selling, because that's what marketing is you're telling a story in order to compel people to take action that you would like them to, and you do that through storytelling, through content creation, and in many different ways. So I took the opportunity to, as Jason was saying, I travel the whole county. I've gone from, Russell Cave to Cathedral Caverns to Walls of Jericho to Paint Rock Valley. I'm still learning, but there are so many assets here. So in my background, I have always owned my own business. And so I have this business mind, the way that I look at everything. And to me, it finally clicked because I I wish that someone would have taught me younger how a community works. I feel like I'm just now waking up to how a community works and the importance of each piece. And I know a lot of the audience are local students, and so I thought about the best way to say this. And I'm not a mechanic by any stretch of the means, but I thought about a community as a machine. And regardless of the smallest little piece that you have or this big piece that's like, you're well aware is there, regardless of the size of the piece, you take a piece out and the machine stops working. And then, if it's the smaller the piece, the harder it is to find what's causing the problem, to fix it. And so I see the community functioning like a machine, and there are some pieces that have been lost along the way. Not just in this community, but every community has similar struggles. And so, looking at the community in that way, it's necessary for us to understand that tourism, which I have the coolest job in the world, and I know I do, and I'm very grateful for that. But it's not just going out into the woods. I've had people even say to me like, why aren't you in the office? Why are you out all the time? I'm out all the time because I got a call 2 weeks ago from somebody wanting to hike the walls of Jericho. And she's from 3 states away. She knows it's been raining and she's wondering what the water flow is like. Well, I hike that every year, so I'm able to, safety is my top concern. I don't want anyone coming here and getting hurt in Jackson County. And so I know how muddy that can get in certain areas. So I was able to tell her, if we don't get a lot of rain in the next 2 weeks, I suggest pushing off to 2 weeks, coming in 2 weeks, and this is why. And if I don't go out and know those things, as we get calls from people, we need to be able to answer these questions, because when you look at the holistic portion of, or piece of the puzzle, the machine, why is tourism even important? I wouldn't have even known how to answer that question 2 years ago. It's important because, and I'm talking to the education system right now, 2% of the sales tax brought in funds education. The thing that fuels whether people choose to invest and live and build up the community that you want to see has to do with how good the education system is. So I feel a personal responsibility to compel people using marketing to come here, spend money, increase sales tax revenue so that our education system can continue to improve. And I think what we have here in Northeast Alabama is absolutely exceptional. I think we have a great school board. Everybody works very hard to make sure our kids are well taken care of and that we're being as innovative as possible. And so that further fuels what I'm able to compel people to come to, because when people come here, it's not just an in and out type of thing. Yes, we get lodging tax. Yes, we get sales tax. Do you know how many people come here for fishing tournaments, fall in love with this lake, and then buy a house the weekend that they're here? That happens a lot. And they're not all just from Tennessee or Alabama or Georgia. We have people from Illinois, Missouri, Washington State, Pennsylvania. They come from all over. They fall in love with the area. Then they start to realize that our sales tax, our property taxes are so low, and then they invest. So that's all a wonderful scope, but I think one of the pieces of that machine that's missing is, kids coming out of the school system and stepping into their community and understanding their role, understanding the impact of starting a business, that investing in their own community goes back into improving the schools, improving the roads, making it a place so that an investor wants to come and put a water park at Goose Pond, all these things that people say they want in their community, and then get frustrated that it's not here. I personally think it's because they for some reason, there's a missing drive to invest back into themselves. And so, yes, I work on the fun side of things, of showing people how great this area is and bringing them to our area. But I'm always thinking about, how can I leverage people coming here to invest in Jackson County, to spend more money and help fuel the county's budget as well as the education budget?
Sarah, you talked earlier about how you had owned your own business and done things like that.
Yes.
I think that's something that, can you talk a little bit about, how you got that started, how hard that is to keep going, things like that, because I know we do have kids that are interested. I know we've got students. There's one student in particular that went to school here that I'm thinking of that's a junior at North Jackson right now. She's kind of started her own business, and it's really taken off now. But what are some things that kids who are interested in doing that can be thinking about doing? And then if you could touch a little bit on, I know your background's obviously in marketing. What may be some opportunities, including the job you're in now, but other opportunities that a marketing background can give you?
Sure. So let me try to segment that. And if I get lost in the first one, remind me of the second question, please.
Okay.
Okay. So the first is business.
Yes.
So I would like to speak to the students who all they think about is owning their own business. There are students right now that's a passion of theirs, and they don't even know why they think about it. So when I was in high school, I was not the girl that had a lot of friends and thought about who I was dating or who I was going to marry. I didn't. I was building forts and thinking about the bed and breakfast that I wanted to one day own, and I had zero direction. Unfortunately, I do not have great parents, and so I had very little direction from my parents, very little direction from the world, and that's actually why I went into the military, because I didn't have someone kind of like recognizing that I had this business mind and what to do with it. So first of all, to those students, I would say you have something very, very special. If you're always thinking about, what business is. And so I just I'm not afraid to fail. So I would say that that's the first thing in business. I actually call myself a failed entrepreneur because here I am working at a job and I no longer have a business. And I made two business attempts over the course of 10 years. I did make some money, but I didn't know the financial side. Like I was just naturally had a good understanding of business, but the back end of managing finances and knowing whether what the products you're purchasing in order to either resell or make, whether you're making any money off of that, I didn't have a background for that. So at close to 30, I went to school for business because I'm like, well, maybe I can figure out how not to be in the red, losing money. And so that's probably the toughest thing about business, is knowing what decisions to make when, because a lot of times we get very emotional about the thing we're passionate about, the product that we're making, the thing that we're selling. We have some reasoning behind doing what we're doing. It's not all about making money for a lot of very passionate entrepreneurs. It means something to them. And so being able to having some guidance, some business classes, or even a mentor who has been in business before is very important, because you have to be able to remove the emotion to make business decisions, because I think that's why I ultimately failed, is my emotions were very much wrapped up in the two businesses that I built.
Go back to marketing.
Now go back to marketing. What was the question about? I knew I'd forget. What was the question about marketing?
Just talk a little bit about, obviously you got your job at the chamber, but other jobs, other areas that may be open for people who have a marketing background, and kind of what more that opens to them.
Well, I think it's actually interesting that I am at the chamber. So I would like to start there, because I didn't know anything about the chamber 2.5 years ago. I knew that there is a chamber of commerce and they do something for business, and I had no clue 2.5 years ago what that was. I mean, I never even joined the chamber as a business owner. So from a marketing perspective, marketing is so fluid. I'm actually working on a book right now to write about it, because I think marketing has lost its way. A lot of times, especially businesses, I see it over and over and over again. First thing you think of is sales. You think marketing is selling something. Sales is one piece of the machine. Again, if we're going to use that same storyline, it's one piece of the machine, and marketing is actually managing profitable relationships over a long period of time, where sales is the results of managing that profitable relationship. So I say that to say marketing to me is the only industry that affects every single business around the world. So it is really seamless where you can go in marketing. For instance, my daughter, she's 16. She's a junior in high school. She's very much into, gosh, I don't even know the name of the program that she has, but she's developing her art skills. And she's like, I don't know if I can get, a full-time job being an artist. What else can I do? Well, you can be a graphic designer. Graphic designers work very closely and usually in a larger organization in the marketing department, because when you're telling stories, you have to be able to create a magazine ad. You have to be able to create social media posts, edit videos, add graphics to videos. And so marketing is storytelling. So you could do public relations. There's a lot of marketers that are reporters and work for news agencies. In fact, news agencies are shifting their model, and they're doing more shows, like road tripping shows or business interview type shows. And so producing these shows and then selling them and showcasing them and developing this product, it's all part of marketing. And so I would say, if you're interested in this, anything related to storytelling, designing, video creation, YouTubers, that's huge right now. Being a YouTube influencer, they're marketing themselves, they're marketing a product on behalf of, a game or something, the ones that play the games and kids sit there and watch them play these games. They are marketing on behalf of the game because they are telling this ongoing story. So I think there's a lot more in marketing ingrained in our everyday life, and we just don't always realize that that's what's going on.
I believe if you ask this generation of students that we're talking about, these 5th through 8th graders, the top jobs are going to be game designer, YouTuber, celebrity, and they don't see the real connection maybe of what jobs or degrees or backgrounds of information that they need to be successful in those. That it's not just a random thing that happens. You have to have a brand or an image that's marketed. You have to have those artistic design skills. So how do you reach customers, and how has social media allowed you to reach your target now through tourism and marketing through social media platforms? And how would a student follow you to sort of see some ideas that you're using your background to promote our county through?
Well, I would say one of the most active places for our brand is Mountain Lakes Chamber on TikTok, or I'm sorry, on Instagram. It's MT Lakes Chamber, all one word. And again, marketing is storytelling. So I'm very active on our chamber's Instagram stories, and I take people throughout my day. Not always, because some people don't like to be on camera, and I interact with a lot of people. And then sometimes it's just too time consuming to whip out the camera and going from thing to thing. But I would say about 90% of the time I take people through our day, and that's cool, right? It's like, oh, cool, see what the chamber's going on. But from a marketing perspective, the reason why that's important is because the world is tired of being sold to. That's why we don't watch commercials anymore. And, fast forward, as soon as you hit the skip to ad, you're hitting the skip ad button. People don't want to be sold to. So how do businesses and organizations get in front of people? You have to tell an authentic story so that people trust you. So I share a lot of behind the scenes that happens with the chamber, because if you're in a marketing position or you want to be in a marketing position, you have to be able to connect people on a personal level of what's going on. You don't want to ever just put a product in front of them like, here, join the chamber. Well, we're in a big shift, the generational shift right now of several different generations. And they're like, well, why? people are very questionative now. They're very disbelieving. They have a lot of trust issues, and that's for a lot of different reasons. So when it comes to telling a story, knowing each platform, so each platform is different. You don't make and share the same content on every platform. So first, knowing the platform and how to communicate to people on each platform is important. And then when you make the content there, it needs to be something that, is truly authentic to the community. So one thing I'm very cognizant of is I do not misrepresent Jackson County. So it could be very easy to show Jackson County in a certain light, but my concern is if people come here and I'm telling them the wrong story on these social platforms to make it look a certain way, they'll have a bad experience and maybe they don't invest and maybe they don't come back. And so it's very important to be true to who you are and true to who your organization is on different platforms.
I saw Mr. Brad Moore out there shaking his head when you were talking about
Oh,
something.
is Brad here?
Yeah, I think Brad can touch on, or you can touch on the fact that
Brad's an expert in this area.
I wouldn't say that. And as soon as y'all start talking to me, my truck alarm goes off. Hang on just a second.
What Brad's passionate about is paddleboarding, though, and the natural resources that we have, and the ability to tell a story through a journey.
Yeah,
I'll talk for you there, Brad, for a minute.
Oh, well, yeah, I was going to say it's funny that you guys mentioned that because we started yesterday videoing some with my classes so that we can tell the story of what we're doing here at school for my virtual kids that don't get to be here. We spent all day yesterday, and we're about to go back out as soon as I finish with this and finish up pressure washing the storm shelters.
I saw that.
My virtual kids don't get to do that stuff. So we've got a couple of cameras, and then we've got a computer set up just to edit the videos and stuff. And we're going to put it on our Pisgah FFA YouTube page.
That's awesome.
And that's the same, last year from March through May, I made little videos. They may have just been 2 or 3 minutes, but I made little videos every day just to stay in touch with my kids about what I was doing with the school garden because they couldn't come to the school. What I was doing with the chickens that they had helped to raise, since they were a day old and stuff like that. I actually need to learn a lot more from Sarah about that for the school social media stuff and for, my personal stuff, the Mountains and More.
Well, I'm gonna brag on Brad and say, he does do a very good job. And if you want to look at it from a marketing standpoint, it's a true way to keep, and you want to keep in the back of people's mind. Like that's your goal is, for some specific reason, you want people to have you in the back of your mind. And so, because I found Brad originally, I didn't know him from the school system. Originally, I found him on Instagram because I follow hashtags in the area, and I was looking for other people who adventured. And I didn't even know he lived in Pisgah. I was like, oh, this guy comes to, and he's on the local waterway, and let's check him out. And so through Instagram, I ended up, now I'm working with Brad and 2 other gentlemen. And we recently hired one of them to do an asset study from dam to dam, from Nickajack Dam to Guntersville Dam, because there's a big Tennessee Riverline project coming down, and we're trying to make our waterway paddle friendly because, again, that brings in more visitors, that brings in more sales tax, that helps drive the education budget. And so I found Brad on Instagram because he does do a really great job, and he does little snippets of information, and he shows sides of the waterway that I've never seen. And he was elevated in my mind to an expert. So now who do I go to every time I'm like, Brad, tell me about what's going on with Pisgah. I need your help with this. And where do I go for that? I go to Brad and his gang. I don't know what you call yourselves. But that was all because of social media.
And I think one thing that anybody who's done any of this for any length of time will tell you, your story is going to get told, whether it's for your school, whether it's for your classroom, whether it's for your business, whatever. So, you know, a customer's going to go out and talk about the experience they had in your store. People who visit our county are going to talk to other people about that experience. We've got to make sure that that story's a good story, and if it's going to be told, we need to be the ones that tell it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important that we're good at that, and we have a good background in that. So I know, Sarah, we appreciate everything you're doing to help our county on that as well. But any other questions out there this morning from anyone? I know we probably need to get wound to finish up here in a second because everybody's got classes to go.
Thank you, Sarah, for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Sarah.
Hey,
Y'all have a good day today.
I wanted to touch base with you one quick thing, Mr. Collins. Still available?
I am. Do you need to keep the recording on or not?
Yeah, it's really quick. Yesterday, we have hopefully logged something into our Clever accounts called Learning Blade. If teachers and students can check out Learning Blade, I think it's going to have to start with teachers loading the rosters into the program first, but it should be available. And these are career exploration tools. It's a website that will load things for STEM and computer science as exploratory means to just enrich our kids and to find out career paths that they are no longer, that they have no idea exist. So just check out Learning Blade under your Clever account.
All right. Everybody have a great day. Thank y'all for joining us today. Tiger up.